Hello, everybody. This is Mike from the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. My wife Beth and I would like to invite you to join us each week as we examine life at the intersection of marriage, family, careers, and ministry. Through 28 years of ministry, 26 years of marriage, 23 years of professional careers, and 21 years of being parents to 3 kids, our fun and honest discussions promise to have something for everyone. And now, on to the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. This is Mike without Beth this week. And that's okay. I promise you, I have some fun, interesting guests that are going to be popping up here in just a little bit. But I'm actually doing this podcast from the mission field. This week, I am working with group mission trips. I am in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, which is, if you look at the state, the far northeast corner of North Carolina, just below the Virginia line, right around the Outer Banks. So we are here with Group Mission Trips. Group is based out of Fort Collins, Colorado. It's an organization that was started back in 1977. So it's been around close to 50 years. And they, pre-COVID, they were doing up to 35 work camps a summer. These work camps consist of anywhere from 200 to 400 students and adults that come from all over the country, and they focus on one city at a time, and they're there for that city, and we come in, and I'm going to explain everything to you in just a moment, but you go in to do home repairs and all that kind of stuff. So in 1998, I took a youth group to my first ever group work camps, and it was in Everett, Kentucky, and just fell in love with the mission and everything that group had to offer. And for the next few years, took groups as a youth pastor, took my youth groups to some mission trip sites with group. And then in 2001, decided I wanted to be a speaker. And so, because every camp has their own speaker, which they call an MC. And so I have been an MC for group mission trips since 2001. This is my 26th group mission trip and my 22nd as an MC. And just about everyone I've done, our youth group has come along, even though I hadn't been a youth pastor in a while. I usually try to go to the ones our youth group is at, just so I can be around our kids and my own kids. And Beth is often here. Unfortunately, she could not be here this week. She had a work engagement. She is in Portland, Oregon, and I'm sure we're going to hear all about that on the next podcast. But she was asked to go to Portland and speak this week at some lawyer convention or something. But you know what? I'm here. Our youngest is here, Josh. Jacob's still in South Carolina. Maria's still in Florida. But there was a moment in time a couple years ago where all 5 of us were at the same work camp. It only happened one time. We were in Dinwiddie, Virginia for a group mission trip, and all 5 of us got to be there. And so that was really special. But this week is Josh and I. Our youth group is here, and we are joining. There's a total of around, I think there's 240 campers from all over the country. I think it's 13 churches from 11 states. We have as close as obviously North Carolina and Virginia, and as far away as Michigan. And all of these groups drive in. A lot of groups take 2 days to do it. And they come here and we all descend on a local high school or middle school. This year, we're at a high school in Elizabeth City. We come in, they get here on Sunday, they check in. Each group has their own room. So like all the boys from our church have a room. All the girls from our church have a room, and we just use classrooms, and the kids bring air mattresses and cots, and that's what they sleep on. And the cafeteria workers are here, and that's what they eat every day is kind of cafeteria school food, for breakfast and for dinner. And at lunch, they're making sandwiches and taking them out. So not the luxurious lifestyle that they're accustomed to, I'm sure, back home, but it is something. So group mission trips, what I love about them is if you want kind of a ready-made youth ministry, youth mission trip experience, GMT is for you. GMT does an amazing job of setting up everything. So when you pay your registration fee, everything's covered. We arrange the housing, obviously, in the school. We arrange your meals that'll all be taken care of. We arrange the work sites. We arrange the materials to be at the work sites. And so when you show up with your youth, you don't have to worry about organizing any of that stuff. That stuff has already been organized for you. You can just focus solely on the youth that you bring in your youth group. And I've seen churches literally as small as 3, like 1 adult and 2 youth kind of thing. And I've had like this camp. I think we have a church that has 44 is the number. And, obviously they probably have about 10 adults and 30 some kids. And so there's all different sizes come from all different denominations. It's an interdenominational camp. So, we have Methodist and Lutheran and Episcopal and Presbyterian and Baptist and non-denominationals and even some Catholic churches. And so they are here and they all are here with one goal in mind, and that's to serve the community that they're in. So what does a typical week and day look like at group mission trips? All the groups have to be here by 2:00 on Sunday. At 3:00, we do a little kickoff service that I run. It lasts about 30, 40 minutes just to get the kids acclimated to the camp and go through some housekeeping stuff. And we do some fun games, icebreaker type stuff. And then they go out and they kind of chill out the rest of the day and have dinner and kind of just get their bearings around the school. And then that night we have our first evening worship service. And in that worship service, we have games, we have videos. I do our MCs will do a lesson, sermon type things that's kind of broken up throughout the service. We have music. And then on Sunday nights, the big thing is they get to find out who they're going to be working with. Because when you show up at group mission trips, you're not working with your youth group. One of the big things, and this is what I love about group, is everybody comes and they mix everybody up. So they build you in groups of 6, and it's typically 1 adult and 5 teenagers. Sometimes it's 2 adults and 4 teenagers, depending on how the numbers all shake out with registration. But that's going to be your 6-person crew for the week. And more than likely, there are going to be 6 people that did not come together with the same youth group. So it forces everyone to try to get to know one another, learn people that you normally aren't accustomed to knowing, and having to work with people you're normally not accustomed to working with. And that's part of life. And I love that because you're not always going to be in the bubble of your community. Sometimes you're going to have to work with people that you find difficult, or you're going to have to work with people you don't know, complete strangers, and you're going to have to learn them. And so, and I think it's what our kids need. I mean, especially in this post-COVID world where so many teenagers live in a bubble, maybe not even by their choice, but by their parents' choice. This gets you out of your bubble. This forces you to have to work with others and lean on others, complete strangers. And so I love that. And so they get their crews on Sunday night. They find out their work. And so then they get these work packets, and in the work packets, it'll tell them who they're going to go serve for the week, because they're going to serve at the same house every day. They'll find out all the work that they're going to be doing. This work can be anything from painting the exterior of the house, painting the inside of the house, building a deck and steps, building wheelchair ramps, putting new skirting around mobile homes. It's all kind of physical stuff like that. There's really no yard work. There's barely, if ever, any roofing anymore. There used to be, but they've kind of liability and insurance and stuff kind of got crazy. So it's pretty much kept 2 feet on the ground, but it is a lot of painting, a lot of carpentry. And when you fill out your registration form for group, you put, how knowledgeable you are on a scale from say 1 to 4 or something like that. How knowledgeable you are in each of these areas. And then they plug all that into the computer, and there's an algorithm, and it spits out the teams, and it's teams based on pretty much ages, experience, how many work camps you've been to, and what kind of work you can do. So you're probably not going to find 6 people that only know how to paint and there's no carpentry skill building, a 30-foot wheelchair ramp. You're going to have some people in there that know what they're doing. Group also has volunteers that are called site coaches. And these are men and women that volunteer to come and spend a week, and they'll go out every day and they take the camp. And if there's let's say there's 30 work sites, they'll split all these crews up amongst those 30 work sites. They'll take the 30 work sites. They'll give 6 to one site coach, 6 to another site coach. And then that site coach will visit those 6 sites every day, at least once a day, maybe twice if they need to stop back by and swing back by. But they're there to pop in, coach these youth and adults up on how to do certain things, and just kind of be that support, just to make sure, because you're out there building a porch for the first time. You may not know exactly what you're doing. So it's great to have someone with some knowledge that'll pop in and help. These camps, you do the work Monday through Friday. And so Sunday night, you get your crews, you get your job description. Monday morning, we get together again. Every morning, we have our morning program, which runs from about 8 to 8:30. And then all the youth and adults head out and go to their sites. They come back around 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. And then that evening, then they have dinner at 5 and evening program at 7:30. And after evening program, then the youth go and have their youth group devotionals. It's a busy week, and there is some downtime. The kids do get to rest, but we do keep them hopping, and there's a lot of great stuff that happens. And one of the things that we try to do, with our morning programs, we have what we call crew devotions, which are devotions that are done at the job site. And then we have our evening program and then youth group devotion. Whatever the theme for the week is, whatever the theme of the day is, we make sure that all those things are connected through those 4, what we call spiritual touch points. So whatever we talk about in the morning program will then lead into crew devotions, which will then lead into the nighttime program, which will then lead into youth group devotions. So that's kind of how that does. And then you work in between. We don't work them a full 5 days. We give them Wednesdays off, at least half a day Wednesday off. So the crews work till about 12:30. They come back, and then they have really from about 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So about 6 hours to go out with your youth group and go do something fun. And it just depending on where you're at, depends on what there may be. We've been around places where there literally wasn't anything, and so you're scrambling trying to find something to do, maybe go to the movies or something. And we've been in places where there's like an amusement park right down the road, and the amusement park gives everybody at the camp free passes. And so we've kind of had everything in between that. It's just an amazing experience. Like I said, I've done 26 of these. Beth has probably done, is in the teens. I'm going to guess she's probably done 15 or so. We just love this organization. We love what they stand for. We love the change that we've seen in our kids' lives by coming. It's a heartbeat of our church, of Project Re3, our mission organization. Us and Group Mission Trips are sister organizations. We're kindred spirits. We want the same thing. Our goal is to rebuild, restore, and renovate and make communities livable again. That's the Re3 slogan, not groups, but they want the same thing. They want to create a experience and missions that allows youth leaders to help their kids really just engage and encounter Jesus without having to worry about all the other stuff. And it's just a wonderful experience. And so what we're going to do throughout this podcast is I'm going to sit down with some folks that are work camp participants. We might hear from some of the college staff that had worked here and been part of Group Mission Trips. I might hear from some of the older adult veterans that are retired but still come and do the site coaching every year. I might even grab a student or two. We'll see. But that's what today's going to be about. It's a very Group Mission Trip, GMT-centric podcast episode. You can go to Group Mission Trips. I think it's .com. It could be .org. I'll put the correct link in the bio here. But just look up, just go to Google, whatever, just put in Group Mission Trips and it'll pop up. Amazing organization. But so we're going to be interviewing some folks. I'll be cutting them in. And so we're going to have all kinds of interviews throughout this podcast. I encourage you to listen because it's going to be amazing. The things that they talk about and just the way God challenges them and has shaped them and molded them into the human beings that they are today by coming and spending a week of their lives in a city they've never been to, working with complete strangers, for complete strangers. And so with further ado, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I'll pop back on here in just a little bit with our first interviews. All right, we're back. Got some special guests with me right now. As you can see, my voice is still not awesome. I was thinking about it. When I come to camp, I end up speaking 12 times in 6 days. And then this week I was asked to do the Sunday morning service. And so I made it 13 times. And then I do all the staff devotionals at night. So, and then you're talking to all the students. And so at the end of the week, I usually don't have a voice and people wonder why. But, it's okay. It's for a good cause. And 3 people that understand that good cause are with me right now. We're just going to go around the room. There's 3 former summer staffers. These are a group of 4. There's 4 of you guys. The 4th one isn't here. I don't know if y'all got mad at her and she's been cut out or what, but the 3 of the 4 are here. They were on staff together. They served together on the summer staff team. They have since graduated and kind of moved on in life and now are experiencing adulting, and they all have their own lives and their own careers and they live all over the place, but they get back together at least once a year to do one of these camps. And I have been extremely blessed to have them at my camp. They are amazing. And my good friend James had them as his summer crew, and I'm very jealous that he got to experience them then. But anyway, we'll go around the room. We'll start with
I'm Stephanie. I was on summer staff for 4 years, and this is my 25th camp with group mission trips.
25th?
25th, yeah.
And I had you, I know it was maybe uncomfortable for you. Some people don't like to talk about their age, but I had you share your age.
I am 29, so 25 and 29 years is pretty good. I started when I was 4 years old.
Yeah. No, that is amazing, though. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy. I was on summer staff for 1 year, only in 2018. So my 1 year was with these guys.
Well, you hit the jackpot.
I did. I did hit the jackpot. I said I can't get any better than this. So I said I'm just gonna quit while I'm up. So, yeah.
All right.
And I'm Helen. I was on summer staff for 3 years. I've only done 15 camps.
Oh, you're just a rookie.
Yeah. If you count Week of Hopes, it's 15 , but...
I count.
I don't count Week of Hopes. Oh. No, I do. I'm picking.
I was a summer staffer at Week of Hope a little bit.
But you do those there's 6, when there's a Week of Hope, you set up in a city like Pittsburgh or Charleston, and you're there for 5 or 6 weeks?
5 or 6 weeks. I was never there consistently the whole time. My summer staff crew my first year did a couple of weeks, and we just kind of ran Pittsburgh Week of Hope for a little bit, and then the summer I was with these guys, when I flew home back to Minneapolis, I was at the Minneapolis Week of Hope for 2 weeks, and I replaced the project leader. But yeah, Week of Hope is crazy. You kind of just do back to back camps. You get no break.
It's like it's capped at 100, and you get hopefully up to 100 students and adults. One big group leaves, the other big group comes in, and you're serving at just local nonprofits. And where work camp's a little different. We're brought by usually a specific co-sponsor or nonprofit, and we are set up in a school, and the youth and adults go out every day and they work on homes. And so it's a little bit more physically intensive.
Yeah,
they're
very different. Yeah.
So, all right. So how did you get into group mission trips? I mean, did any of you come as campers, or was the first time you were on summer staff was the first group trip you went on? How did that work?
Yeah, so of my 25 camps, 6 of them were actually as a participant. My dad was a youth pastor, now currently an executive pastor, but when I was growing up, he was the youth pastor for our church, so I didn't really have a choice about whether or not I was going on work camps. But actually my very first work camp was with my entire family. My 3 older siblings and my mom and dad were all there at that camp. So I did 6. I loved it going as a camper, and I wanted to redshirt so bad, and I was so happy when I got the job.
And you redshirted for 4 years?
For 4 years,
Gosh,
yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
10 years worth of work camps before you even graduated college.
Yeah.
Man. What about you, Jeremy? Were you ever a camper?
I started as a participant. I was a participant for 4 years all throughout high school. Then I took a break for a little bit. Redshirting really wasn't on my mind when I was a participant. I never went to any redshirt interest meetings or anything like that. So didn't really understand the world of redshirting until my pastor, who's also a director, Eric Lohe, he kind of, pitched the idea of me to be in summer staff. Was a very uncomfortable experience, very uncomfortable decision to make for me, leaving home pretty much for the first time, or going on first plane trip ever. I was just telling these guys, that was my first plane ride ever, is to Colorado training. So yeah, he convinced me to do summer staff in 2018.
Look at that country boy out of Indiana making good,
right?
flying out to the big city.
It's pretty much how it works. But ever since I was summer staff, I can't stop putting on the red shirt. So I try and do as many camps as I can a year now.
He said, this is like your third just this summer.
Third of the summer, yeah. So the last couple of years, I've been trying to do 2 camps of red shirts a year, which is a lot, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
2 years ago, we had for whatever reason, we had 2 camps that the MCs had emergencies, and I MC'd 3 camps that summer.
Wow.
And so I was home a week, MCing a week, home a week, MCing a week, home a week, MCing a week. And so yeah, I MC'd 3 camps, which is the most I've ever done. And it does take it out of you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot of, not just physical, but social, mental, emotional energy gets poured into these things. Yeah. What about you, Helen? Were you ever a camper?
I was a camper once. I can't quite remember it was a city in South Carolina. I went with my youth group. I was actually not really a fan of being a camper. I don't know. I think that, but I went back.
It's one of these things you hated it so much you were just drawn to it,
No, it was, so then the next summer, I had done a year of school, and the youth pastor at the time, they'd gotten an email from group asking for an extra adult to be the office team member. And they were like, oh, we could add you last second to this trip. And I didn't have a job for the summer. I was just lounging around at home, and I was like, oh, I'll go up to Schenectady, New York. And I went, and I think I really got to see, I really like being a red shirt because you get to see the bigger impact in the community. You get to go out on sites, and you get to meet so many residents. You get to meet, you get to really see it through a bunch of different perspectives. And I think that for me at least, I was like, wow, I really get it now. Yeah. I was able to be there and be like, oh, this is so much bigger than I even imagined it as when I was just in that one perspective.
Right.
And, yeah.
And I think coming to group as a participant obviously is needed, and it's what gets your foot in the door. And there's some adults, that's all they want to do. Yeah. They just love coming here, love working with the crews, love bonding with their youth groups. They have no desire to ever put on a red shirt and be in any type of volunteer or leadership role. Mm-hmm. And then there's others that the camp is, that first camp experience is okay.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, maybe I could volunteer. And it does. It's like people are wired differently. And I was just asked today at one of the sites, they were like, hey, you should come back with your group and be a adult volunteer. And I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough. You could double my MC salary and I still would not come back and be an adult on a crew. I cannot do it. I love the staff environment, and you're right. There's just something different about it.
Yeah. I also just think I really felt in that moment, I was my skills, my baseline talents as a person, I can really actually help. And me on a site, maybe not so much.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not gifted that way.
Yeah, I'll admit it. I have no skills either. Yeah. So I mean, it was. Back in the day, I ripped off a lot of roofs, and I'm pretty sure those roofs were leaking when we finished. This is back when group used to do roofing and scraping shingles and put up new. I'm like, what were they thinking? I look back on it,
Imagine putting an 8th grader on a roof.
That's what they used to do. I mean, it was crazy. So we didn't even mention like where y'all are from, because it isn't like the three of you are all from the same church, the same town. You aren't even from the same state. You guys, these red shirt volunteers, come from all over. So, Steph, where are you from?
I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, originally.
Okay, not Goose Creek, but Charleston.
That's true. I am from Goose Creek, South Carolina.
Give Goose Creek some love.
I adore Goose Creek, but no one knows where it is.
But it's so fun to say.
It's Goose Creek. It's the creek. It's the creek.
It's right up from Schitt's Creek, right?
Right up from North Charleston, sure.
And I am from Indianapolis, Indiana.
From Indy proper, or are you from like a
So
little...
I live in Indy proper currently. So I'm from Carmel, Indiana.
All right, there we go.
Just north.
All right.
And I am from Hopkins, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis.
Thank you for being truthful.
Yes.
The only one.
I felt the need to be honest.
Yes, the only one that's like proud of your hometown.
I'm very proud of Hopkins, the capital, the raspberry capital of America.
Wow.
I mean, we've learned this week is no. We've learned this week is no Nimrod, Minnesota.
No.
So that's
There's not a bricks there.
today's show is brought to you by Bricks. So why so many camps? Like, why do you guys keep coming back? What is it about group mission trips that if I'm a youth leader and I'm thinking about doing something with our youth next summer that I've never done before, and you guys have obviously been to a bunch, what is the benefit of bringing my youth and adults to a group mission trip?
I really think it's a great expanding opportunity. I think that it really, you get to look at these kids, especially a kid where it's the first time that they've ever done it. And you really put them face to face in a real personal relationship with the person that they're helping. And you get to see just a completely different experience than your own. And it's also why I think people should become summer staffers, because it is this real, actual growing experience that I think is hard to replicate in another, yes, a wilderness trip can do that. Yes, some other service projects can do that. But really building a relationship with the person that you're helping and getting to see them as a real whole person that you understand the actual impact of what you're doing is so powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. I think the mixing of the work crews is probably the most, it's the distinct point of group mission trips. You know, I work with other mission trip organizations where it's just, I go out and work with just the people of my church and we get close, those are good camps. But when I was a participant of group mission trips, you got to meet other people and work with other people. And I think it's kind of the same red shirting as well. I get to meet this community of red shirts that I have no idea who they are going into it. These kids go out on crews. They're uncomfortable. That is that first day on the site, they're working with people that they had no idea who they were 12 hours ago. And that just gets them outside their comfort zone. And that's kind of where God works his best is when they're uncomfortable. Right. So I think that just introduces a different aspect where it allows Jesus to, be real in these campers.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact wording of the mission statement of group mission trips, but it's something that along the lines of we help youth leaders create camp experiences where youth encounter Jesus. And I think that there are very few organizations that truly do reach their mission statement, but group does. And I especially like the word encounter because if you meet someone, you can meet someone and leave that meeting without changing at all, but you can't encounter something or someone without something changing. And so for group, it's so Jesus focused. And part of that is because there is the mixing of the denominations. It has to be interdenominational in the program, but they work the group mission trips organization works so hard to make it Jesus focused. And that really comes through. You encounter Jesus when you're at camp.
Yeah. And it's neat to see the kids show up and I explained this earlier in the pod is, they show up with their youth group. Sunday night, they get split up and they get put in a crew of 5 other strangers, right? And then that 6-person crew goes out Monday morning, goes and meets a complete stranger and starts working on their house together. And some crews click immediately and they are best friends all week. Others, it just seems, just personalities.
Definitely.
It's not like there's, we have them answer a personality test and
It's a group project on steroids.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a lot of social experiments that can be done and studied through. But the great ones are the ones by the end of the week you see that they've clicked, and it's very few that I've ever seen that don't really ever mesh. It's like they end up by the end of the week. It's almost like, much like your milk jug story, which we'll get into here in a second, with the shared trauma. It's like you have the shared experience of working on Miss Betty's house, right? And by the end of the week, you've accomplished something together that you couldn't have done by yourself, obviously. And I love that. And I was just, I had a chance to spend some time with with the current summer staff, Sadie, today. And we were just talking about working on a summer crew. Like you said, Jeremy, you got on a plane for the first time, flew to Colorado. You go through a couple of weeks of intense training, and then they give you a rental car and a box truck and say, all right, now drive back to Indiana or wherever you're going and start working.
With a bunch of strangers.
With a bunch of strangers. And now the four of you have to somehow obviously form a working bond. And then in a case like you guys, you've now built this closeness, this friendship that's obviously for a lifetime, and so you're tatted up together. So what was that like, the relief? Because I'm sure there was some nervousness going in, like, what if I hate my crew? What if the other three like each other and I'm the outsider? I mean, that's the kind of things that would be rolling around in my anxiety-filled brain.
It was tough. It was scary. I remember my first summer checking in at the airport, and the lady at the baggage claim could just see how nervous I was, and my parents had paid for the parking there, and so they were in there with me checking my bags and everything, and she gave them gate passes so that they could go through security and sit with me because of how nervous I was. But it really is that you leave from Colorado and the closest camp is at least a 10-hour drive. So you have 2 days of driving at least where you're just stuck in the car with someone. And honestly, that drive out of eastern Colorado is just tumbleweeds. It's literal tumbleweeds. So you are forced in close proximity to either sit there in the silence or talk to each other. You just end up talking to each other and learn a lot about people just in that little time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the nervousness lasts a couple weeks into the summer, at least for me. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I was put on. I was put on a crew with 4 other girls, actually. So I mean, I was the only guy. So I mean, there was no comfort as far as
there's some guys that would have killed for that.
I mean, definitely, yeah. But I mean, so there was nobody to fall back on. I was in a hotel room by myself. I couldn't debrief with somebody or anything like that. So
sharing. Forced you to watch The Bachelor.
So I had to put on face masks and watch the Bachelor every night.
I thought your skin looked good.
I know. It's because of these two right here. Yeah. But yeah, that uncomfort, it lasts a little bit, but you especially after you do a camp. I think once you get to camp week, you get in a routine. It was probably awkward up until the camp week because then you really get to work. You get to even show your skills a little bit too. You get to prove yourself a little bit more. So once camp week hit, it went really well.
Yeah, no, it was the first time I was ever on a plane by myself, and I remember that whole time so vividly. And I think training helps a lot too. Yeah, that immersive 2-week training experience where you get to you also build bonds with the other people who are working your position, right? So if I'm the office manager and I have this group of other office managers who are doing the same jobs over the summer, and I have lifelong friendships with some of those people where it's like you're bouncing ideas off of each other. Like, oh, I just had a youth leader come in and they had this question and I don't know what to do. Like, let me go and talk to another college-aged kid who's like 8 states away dealing with a very similar issue. And I think that helps too.
Yeah.
You're really...
Because they throw you in the fire at training in that they don't put you up at a hotel. It's like air mattresses in classroom floors, just like you would be living all summer. They try to recreate that, don't they, at training?
Yeah.
You're in
Definitely.
Lucille Irwin Middle School.
We were sleeping in classrooms just like the campers here. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I touched on it a second ago. You guys have a friendship and a bond that runs tattoo deep. So I'm sitting here looking at 3 identical tattoos of water jug milk carton looking things. So what in the world?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
So in 2018, we served on a crew in Houston, Texas, doing hurricane relief from Hurricane Harvey. It was 2 camps. Neither camp had a co-sponsor, which is very unusual for work camps. So we were kind of the only people doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
And another organization had donated, a lot of gallons.
1 gallon of water per camper per day. So if we had a camp of 300 students, that's 1,600 gallons, 1,700 gallons of water.
So the goal was to get each camper to drink a gallon of water a day. We called it the Gallon Challenge in order to prevent heat exhaustion because we were very concerned about that. Unfortunately, the campers did not reach that goal every day. So by the end of camp week, we had 300-ish.
Yeah, we had huge, I don't know, an entire corner of the cafeteria
multiple pallets
full of jugs of
gallon
water.
jugs.
And they would they were not high quality jugs of water. And I think they had sat in that warehouse for months beforehand. Because this is one of those donations that, an organization doing hurricane relief just gets a pallet of gallon jugs of water and they have no purpose for it. And so they're just waiting for something to do with it. And so they were leaking everywhere. You'd move a box and you would see, oh man, there's moldy cardboard back here because water started draining 3 months ago. And no one noticed.
Yeah, so at the end of the camp...
I can't understand why the kids didn't want to drink it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the gallons were sealed, it's fine. At the end of the camp, we had about 300 gallons of water left, and we called the school and said, do you guys want this as a donation? And they said, no, you have to remove everything before
under
you
no
leave.
circumstances can you leave them in this building.
And so we called a couple food banks and tried to see if there was anyone because, water is a valuable resource. We don't want to just dump it, but unfortunately no one at the time wanted the gallons. Yeah. And we were told explicitly by the school, you have to remove these. So after a week of setup by ourselves, so delivering drywall across Houston area, and then a week of camp where we were averaging 2 to 4 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, I hadn't slept the night before because the group had checked out at 2 a.m. And then another group at 4 a.m. Then another group at 5 a.m. So as the office manager, you're not sleeping that night. There's no way.
And then it's move 1,000 pounds of water out of my school as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And so the quickest way we found that to do was to drag everything out to the parking lot and just smash the gallons.
over the sewage grate so that the water not too much of the water would not go back into the water system.
Yeah, and then truck all of the empty cartons across the parking lot to the dumpster. So it probably took a couple hours. Maybe.
Really?
We went through phases. There was phases of sadness, of oh man, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Then there was some fun with it. It's we're just smashing gallons together. Oh, this is a good time.
It's like a hydro rage room is what I feel like this is.
And then there was definitely some anger being man, why are we in this situation? We should be in a hotel room sleeping right now. This is not fair.
Competitions of how high we could throw the gallons before they smash. It was a great time. Well, we finally ended up smashing all the gallons and getting all the cartons into the dumpster, and then we did our final, like, let's grab our suitcases and pack those up, did our walk through the school. And as we are, like, literally getting in our cars to leave, a police car comes into the parking lot, blocks the exit, tells us that we can't leave the parking lot because there's about to be a life flight, like a helicopter life-saving flight that's going to land in the parking lot. And so we have to wait there for another 45 minutes until that happens. And then we got to go sleep for 24 hours.
Yep. And so it was after you woke up, you went and got matching tattoos.
Yeah, immediately.
Not quite.
Yeah. We said, I'm going to remember that day forever.
So the fourth person who's missing, what is their name?
Catherine.
Now, does Catherine also have this milk jug tattoo?
Yes, she does.
All right. So there you go. So if you're ever out and about in the world and you see somebody with this milk jug tattoo on their left arm.
Well, if you call it a milk jug, we'll
okay,
correct
water
you.
jug. It's a water jug. It looks like
everyone calls it a milk jug tattoo.
Yeah.
But I love having it because people ask me about it all the time, and I get to tell them a really great story about some really great, amazing people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, are you right-handed?
Yes, I am.
And you're right-handed?
Yes.
All right, so I was noticing, Jeremy, you're left-handed.
I do write with my left hand, yes.
Oh, you're left. I thought, did I not see you writing with your left hand?
I write with my left hand, but I do everything else with my right.
Oh, okay. So I was like, poor Jeremy's the only one that has to stare at it every time. Like the rest of you can like have your arm down. It's not front and center. But you have to look at it every day. And it's just staring at it.
Just a constant reminder of them, so
Yes.
I don't mind too much.
All right, so Steph, what do you do now?
I currently work for a nonprofit. It's a reentry organization, so we help people as they're being released from prison to reenter society.
Great. Jeremy, what do you do?
I currently work at my church. I'm the tech director, so I kind of handle all sound, video, and audio, as well as I handle all of our missions and outreach, which is why I'm able to participate in so many mission trips.
Excellent.
And I work for a wealth management firm. I am a treasury specialist there, so I wire money, send ACHs, basically handle their banking relationships.
Okay. Do you feel like your time on summer staff prepared you for anything later in life? Like, do you think it gave you some building blocks to help you in the future?
Absolutely. I figure if I can get through smashing 300 gallons of water after a week of zero sleep, then I can get through anything else. No, but really, like Helen was saying earlier, like summer staff is such a growing experience. I learned so much about how to work with other people, about how to handle my own emotions and conflicts, and then also just how to organize a lot of stuff. Like summer staff, it as much as fun as it is also a job. So you do learn actual skills with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, to go along with that, I mean, the spiritual side of, growing alongside these people, my faith journey would look a whole lot different if I didn't take summer staff. I would not be in the position I would be at church, like I wouldn't probably have pursued a lot of church stuff if I didn't go on summer staff. So the spiritual journey, you do devotions with your crew at night, things like that. There was a lot of growing. And you're right, the organization and things like that. I look back at summer staff, I'm like, wow, did I really do that? Like me being, I'm an introvert, and I look back at all the things that I did on summer staff. I was like, man, like I was on like 50 phone calls a day, like there was no alone time, on summer staff. So I look back, I'm like, well, okay, if I was capable of doing that, then I'm capable of doing a lot of things that I'm facing in life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me was that you're kind of alone. You are in charge of yourself. When they say that you go out and you run these camps, you go out and you run these camps. Yes, there are people back in Colorado to help you. And yes, I mean, for work camp, there's an MC and a director. But for the most part, you're actually tackling these problems pretty much on your own. And for me, that was a huge learning and growing experience. Even the travel stuff, like traveling just with other college-aged kids. I remember the first time right after I'd graduated from college, and I went on a trip with a few of my friends, and none of them had ever checked into a hotel by themselves before, or like gone to like a car rental like place in the airport. And that seems like a silly thing, but like I felt like I could walk into almost any situation, meet anybody, and like if I can get the head custodian in Pocahontas, Virginia to like me enough to deal with me, like I can get anybody to deal with me. If I can get the athletic director in a school that really kind of doesn't want me there to, by the end of the week, like really respect me as a 19-year-old, that is a skill that I really don't see myself having gained anywhere else than summer staff.
For sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have just loved working with the three of you this week. I hate Catherine hadn't been here for me to meet her too, if she's anything like the three of you guys. And so I have loved my time with you guys. I think you are the epitome of what group mission trip should be. To come on a camp, to have your life changed, to want to come back, be on staff, and then taking your experiences from being on staff and just being great human beings in whatever field of life that you get into. And I mean, that should be the transition. I mean, that should be the stepping stones. And I'm jealous of people like you because I didn't even know group mission trips existed when I was what would have been y'all's age when y'all were doing it. And it did exist. And I think it's a great kept secret. And post-COVID, there are fewer and fewer of these organizations around. They just didn't survive. And it's hard to run a nonprofit, especially when you have to take a year or two off like somebody did. You just can't do it. And so group has survived. And it does have almost 50 years behind it, you know? And so I've asked 50 more. But I've loved getting to know you guys. Like I said, y'all are exactly what I think group needs. And so I feel good about, as long as I've been here, handing things over to the next generation as I think about that. So thank you so much, guys, for taking time and jumping on the pod. So thanks a lot. All right, I'm back, and we have another special guest with us, PGA legend Thom Watson.
Same name, lot less talent.
Oh, so you're not that Thom Watson.
I am the Thom Watson, but not a talented nor rich Thom Watson.
Oh, do you get that a lot? Do you find that like you call and make reservations at a restaurant, you say Thom Watson, and then you show up and they're disappointed?
It's usually old people at churches that I visit,
right.
But it's not like when I call up to make a reservation because no one calls people anymore.
Look, I'm dating myself. I am older than
awkward.
you. Back in my day, we used to have to pick up the phone and call.
Back in my day.
So we've listened to a few folks. We've been able to hear about group mission trips from a summer staffer's perspective, former summer staffer coming back as a redshirt volunteer. Now we have Thom Watson, Thom is a youth pastor in South Carolina, the metropolis known as Goose Creek, correct?
It's bustling.
I mean, the church is called Metro North. I mean, that sounds like metropolis to
I know
me.
that it sounds like we're like really big and well populated.
Yes.
And it's primarily a major hub because we actually have a naval academy there, the Nuke School.
Yeah.
And so we constantly have like Navy families coming in and out. And then I think it primarily started as like a rural community and just grew from that.
Who knew that we were also going to get South Carolina history lesson here?
Yeah, do you get what you pay for?
Yeah, absolutely. So Thom and I met a few years ago. Brought his youth group to one of the camps that I was the MC at, and we just hit it off. I think we're just kindred spirits in a lot of ways.
Brothers from other mothers.
Yes, and we're both good looking, both bald. Yeah, it's kind of scruffy looking in the face, and probably married up and out of our league.
Oh, way out of my league.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so. So anyway, I just wanted to get your perspective. You know, as a youth pastor that is still bringing youth groups to group, how many years have you been doing this?
All right, so I've done my fair share of mission trips in general. This is actually only my third year with group.
Okay. So I've had you all 3 years.
Yeah. You and I have been besties for all of my group experience.
I did not realize that.
I don't know if I could do a group without you.
Wow.
Yeah. But to get to your question. I love group. I love the interdenominational aspect of it. You know, we're a PCA church, but I love the fact that my kids are working alongside. We've been with Catholic youth groups and Episcopal youth groups and Lutheran, and just even with our denominational differences, we're all coming together, united in Christ. And I was even telling my crew today that especially this year, we were just blessed with unity of the Spirit. You've got middle school boys and high school girls and, overweight, middle-aged youth pastors from South Carolina. But with all of our differences coming from Michigan and Baltimore and just all these different places, there was no bickering. And now I know there was some, in other groups, but our group was blessed with just this amazing unity and just a willingness to serve not just our resident, but even serve one another. The first couple of days, our break makers made the sandwiches for everybody. And it was just like their way of serving the people they're working with. And so it was just,
there's a lot of youth pastors that I know when they ask me about group and I'm telling them about it and I'll mention, and then your group splits up and you work with other kids. They're like, whoa, it's like I don't know if there's a fear there or what, but that's one of the things I liked about group is the fact that it's almost like the old kids book Stone Soup. You throw everything in the soup and you mix it up and you put it out. And so these crews are all made up of complete strangers.
Yeah.
And I think that's beneficial to the teens to learn how to work with people they don't know.
Well, and I think to get back to what you were saying about youth pastors being scared of it, I think that really comes from a control issue. We're so afraid of letting go of things we can't control, which sounds really funny for that to come from a pastor. When we tell our students to trust God, and then we're like, no, I've got to control my group. But I've learned so much just from serving alongside students that I never would have met otherwise.
Yeah.
If I just stayed in my little Presbyterian bubble.
Right.
But I have been richly blessed by getting to know and worship with and serve with people from all over the denominational spectrum.
Yeah, even adult to adults.
Yeah.
You meet adult. Like I don't know if you and I would have met any other way.
I know, and the world would be a much darker place if we hadn't.
Absolutely, it would have. And so, so there you go. Thank you, Group Mission Trips, for saving the world
fault.
yet again. That's right. So, I guess, in your opinion, if there's a youth pastor that comes up to you and says, let's not even talk about group mission trips. Let's just say, what is the benefit of a short-term mission trip? Like, why should I take my youth on a mission trip? What do you see in that? Just missions in general.
Missions in general. First off, I wouldn't even say it's the culture. It's our human heart that we just naturally focus on ourselves. And going on a mission trip forces you to take your eyes off of someone else and focus on someone else, or take your eyes off of yourself, focus on someone else. Because we don't naturally do that. I love my wife, but I naturally want to do what I want. And I have to love her like Christ loves the church. And I think mission trips teach our students the same thing. This is how you start taking your eyes off of yourself and learn how to serve others. Even people that you will never get anything back from. We're never going to hear from our resident again. And hopefully not until, we see her one day in heaven. But there's a beauty to helping someone and serving and giving your time and energy to someone where you're not promised anything back.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection of what Christ has done for us. We love thinking of Jesus, as our Savior. And Jesus comes to save and, defeats death and all that stuff. And that is awesome. But I really think we've lost the art of letting go of ourselves and just deeply giving to others, especially those that can't give anything back.
Yeah. So we're going to do a tangent here, a deep dive into youth ministry. I've seen a difference, I think, in youth ministry, especially as parents view youth ministry and the letting go of their kids post-COVID. Do you find it's any different doing missions with teenagers post-COVID than pre-COVID? Are you getting any pushback? Are you having more parents? Beth and I like to call them lawnmower parents, the parents that want to kind of mow down all their kids' problems so they don't have to go through any type of adversity.
Yeah.
Like are you finding that at all in, man, it used to be I could advertise, hey, we're going on this trip and, kids would sign up, and now you're having to like beg kids to come or beg parents to let kids come. I don't know. Like, what are you experiencing?
All right. So there are a couple things there. One, I love the analogy of mower parents. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, dang, I think I do that with my own kids. So thanks for that.
And we can do a separate podcast where we just kind of unpack that in your life, Thom.
Yeah, let's unpack that. Thank you. Post-COVID has definitely been a very different youth ministry world. But for me, I think I've noticed it more with students than I have from parents. The parents that I've interacted with, and this is just the blessing of, I stepped into a youth ministry that has existed since I was in high school. This is the same church that I was a youth at, and my youth pastor is now the senior pastor, and I've taken over, decades later as the youth pastor. So I think our ministry itself is long-standing enough to where parents trust our youth ministry and our church. My biggest struggle is students. It used to be a fear of missing out. I don't want to miss out.
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO. And but it used to be like, I've got to sign up for this trip because I don't want to miss anything. But now my students have FOBO, fear of a better offer. I can't get students to sign up until literally the day after the deadline, because they're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, or, my family might go on vacation, so I don't know. And so for me, like, I think post-COVID disrupted the connection of family life to the church.
Yeah.
And so I think when the church offers something, there's not that same desire or that same drive to where this is what we've always done. So yeah, let's go ahead and sign up. Now it's like, well, something else might happen. So I'll wait and see. That's what I struggle with, at least.
Okay. No, that's, just like lawnmower parenting was a new one for you. I love FOBO. I've never thought about that too, but you are exactly right. Yeah.
Can you say that again, please?
FOBO?
No.
Oh, you were exactly right.
I love that.
Just edit that part out and just play that to your wife.
I was about to say, can we call Amy real quick?
Yes, we'll do. So we do a thing at group mission trips, God sightings, where we encourage kids as they're coming back in to kind of share with us some God sightings. And then a handful of those kids get up every evening during the program and share with the whole camp. Hey, here's the way I saw God today. Looking at the last 3 years, your youth group specifically, what's been some God sightings that you've seen in your youth group, in group mission trips? Like, why keep coming back? There had to have been something or some things that keep happening that you're like, man, I want my kids to experience this. Like, what's been some Metro North God sightings at group mission trips?
I mean, at the surface level, or just at the surface level, part of it is, we love doing missions. We love serving. There's the relationships that you make, and not just between you and me, but, I think of the students in our groups, and, I still hear from Brandon every now and then, and just the long-lasting relationships that build between ministries. And like, oh, I saw you 2 years ago at Dinwiddie, and so I love that kind of stuff. But I think with the God sightings, and I know it's not just group, but we do group. And so, you've got the students that you teach and you preach, and you're talking with them every single week, all year long. And it feels like nothing changes. And you take them out of their comfort zone. You mix them up with a bunch of other students, and let's be honest, force them to go serve. And something just breaks down those walls. And it's not even, it's not, they work all week, so they're exhausted. So, emotional manipulation. No, even before everyone gets tired, like those walls, you can start seeing cracks breaking through, and just the Spirit uses these opportunities to tear down the walls that we are so quick to build up.
Yeah.
And I know that's not an exclusive, like push for group. It's, just a push for missions in general. But I love, and I've seen firsthand how the Lord has been using group to bless our church. Mm-hmm. And so when people ask, I tell them, yeah, we do group mission trips. Someone else might have another mission organization that works great for them. Mm-hmm. But I always say we use group because we know that it's a wonderful group. Yeah. Group is a wonderful group, a wonderful organization. Yeah. There's our church has been going with group for, I think, 20 years.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Actually, since '99, so over 20 years.
Yeah.
And so it's that thing that, like, we keep doing it because we know it's wonderful and we've seen the Lord work and move. And I don't think we could even narrow it down to one specific thing, but it's this long-lasting, we've seen the faithfulness and the blessing of serving through group, and we just keep coming back.
Yeah. Where are you going next year? That's the big question.
West Virginia, Bell, West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, already signed to the paper and everything. They give you 3 choices where you want to go first, second, and third. And I signed to Bell, West Virginia on all 3 of them.
You know what's funny? I had someone tell me that today. They were like, we had a youth leader turn in an application. They didn't say who it was. And they put the same place for all 3.
It was me. No shame. I'll go in there and I'll advertise it. Yep, that was me.
Yes. Well, fantastic. Well, I think that's where we're looking at going. So
funny how that works.
Yeah. And it is neat. You build so group, and I think I explained this in the very beginning of this podcast. You know, back in the day, group was 35, 40 camps.
Yeah.
And a summer. COVID hits, the whole world changes. And
literally.
And now we at group will have 12 to 15 camps. Mm-hmm. And just because people aren't doing the missions like they used to, you know, they just aren't. And so where it used to be with that many camps, you never ran into people that you knew. Mm-hmm. Well, next summer, there's only 12 camps, you know? And so the percentage is pretty high, especially if you live in a certain region, because you're kind of, at least for us, we're limited. We look at it and say, all right, what's, within an 8-hour drive, although we did have a group, this camp, that flew in. Mm-hmm. And then we had
they're leaving at like 3 a.m. tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, they're leaving super early.
That's disgusting.
Yes. But so because of that, now I've noticed like the last 3 years since COVID, I'm having more and more churches that are stuck with me, that we end up serving with.
I think that's a fair assessment.
But like there's 13 churches here. 7 of them have been at my camps before.
Yeah.
Like this week. And you are now the second church that told me from this camp that told me they're going to West Virginia next year. So that repetitive building that relationship though is something that had never happened before in group, and now it is. And I'm just talking out loud. This is the first time I've thought about this, but that could go a long way also.
Absolutely.
With like building these relationships with these kindred spirit churches, exactly what you were saying. Denominational lines don't matter. What matters is we're coming to serve in this city. We all have that missional mindset to serve. And, these youth, it's cliche, but they're the future of the church. You know what I mean? And so, and if not the present,
I was going to say, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the future of the church. They're the church now.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking of like,
but they're like the future church leaders.
The old guard, that are still like, you're too young to do anything. You know what I mean? But like, so like they're being trained up now in a different way than maybe their parents did.
Yeah.
And so hopefully all these churches that keep coming back and coming back and coming back will start planting these seeds to where now when these kids become the older leaders in the church, the deacons, the elders, or however their churches are set up, missions is like a natural thing, just as natural as Sunday morning service. It's like, well, we're going on a mission trip, so why wouldn't we? That's what we've always done.
Absolutely. And I love that, again, going back to the unity aspect of it. There's a phrase that we use quite often in our church, but we call each other forever family. Because that's what we are. We're in different denominations, we're in different states, but I know that when I come to group mission, and I see you, that's my brother. Yeah. He's not just my friend, that's my brother right there.
And brothers don't shake hands.
Brothers got a hug.
That's right.
So that's I'm disappointed that's only our first reference, but but there's a beauty to the relationships that our churches are making, our students are making, our leaders are making, because we're all part of one body.
Right.
And I think we do a disservice when we don't step out of our bubble.
Yeah.
And show our kids that, hey, you know what? This is the way that we've always done this. This is the way that I teach, or this is the way that I handle this. But to step out of that and see how, maybe the foot isn't always right. Maybe we should listen to the hand.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should listen to the ear. We're all parts of one body. Mm-hmm. Why are we trying to think that our way is the only way?
Right. Yeah.
And I think group really helps to see just that the family working together to move the kingdom forward.
Right. Yeah. And speak to real quick adults that are thinking about coming with their youth group to chaperone. Mm-hmm. I know that you're like, hey, you want to go on a free mission trip? Sure. All right. Get your air mattress. You're going to be sleeping in a maybe hot, maybe cold school classroom. Showers, maybe hot, maybe cold, maybe private, maybe open.
You never know.
So the way I'm wired, I'm just like, just suck it up and do it. But how do you sell that to, what would you have to say to parents or adults that are thinking about coming as a chaperone if they're struggling with the less than ideal conditions? It's not, the Hyatt.
It's weird because there are different kinds of selling points. You have your adult youth workers that a lot of times I think the only obstacle for them is can they take time off of work to go on a mission trip? Mm-hmm. That they're already serving in youth ministry. They know the benefit. The selling isn't that hard. Then you've got the parents where they're like, well, I don't know if my kid really wants me to be there. And if there's a parent listening right now, your kid does. They might not say it and they might not admit to it, but they want to see you living out the gospel. They want to see you acting on the faith that you say you believe in. Mm-hmm. And so for any parents that are questioning about going on a mission, especially group mission, do it, because you're going to see your child in ways that you never would back home.
Right.
You see them out of their comfort zone. You see them with their peers, and you see them serving. So for any parent that has asked, should I go on a mission trip with my child? That's a wholehearted get off your butt and do it.
Yeah.
And then
because you're never going to have that opportunity again.
Exactly.
I mean, it's rare.
Yeah. And so once they graduate, it might happen later on, but
life just gets crazy and hectic and busy.
Exactly. So if you have the opportunity, do it. Mm-hmm. Then you've got just the other adults in the church, and that's all over the board. I know at one point we were looking at trying to host a group mission trip. And so for us, one of the big selling points is, well, we're trying to get group to come, so why don't you come and experience it so we can see, what kind of work we're going to have to be helping and all this stuff. And then that kind of fell through, but that's a whole other conversation. But a lot of times you've got the adults that you can pretty easily convince, hey, you're looking for an opportunity to serve. let's go serve. Sometimes you've got the retired folk that think that, well, they can't go just because it's a bunch of teenagers. But you know what? The older generation's supposed to teach the younger generation. So come on out, and you're going to learn just as much from students as they will from you. And there's likely going to be a time where we need someone with that kind of experience and expertise. But it takes all kinds of adults. Last year, we had one of our elders come, and I mean, he talks to the students in our church, but it's not like he's not a part of the youth ministry. He doesn't hang out with teenagers, but he came and did this because for him it was important to serve, but to see what it's like for our students to serve. And so I think for just the average church adult, it builds relationships with the younger members in the church. But these students need to hear your story just as much as you need to hear their story. That's bearing one another's burdens and encouraging one another and lifting one another up. We all need to hear each other's stories. We all need to see each other serve.
Yeah.
We all need to see each other struggle.
Right.
Because your struggles and successes will encourage me in my struggles and successes.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Well said.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I'll let you. Well, man, I just love that you took time to sit down and just talk a little bit. Like I said, I love and respect you. Your youth group is I always say, my second favorite youth group behind my own. And sometimes they are my favorite, even above my own, depending on how mine are behaving.
I won't tell them.
But you've got an amazing group of kids and adults, and I love seeing them every year. And so I just wanted to kind of get your perspective. What makes you keep coming back? Why is it vitally important in youth ministry to even do missions in the first place, and to speak exactly what you spoke about, just from adults' perspective, from a youth perspective, why group,
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you taking a few minutes of your busy day. I know I'm keeping you from writing some care cards for your...
I have to write my care cards.
Care cards. And, I have an envelope up there too, so you can fill mine too. I appreciate that.
They let you have one this year?
They did this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, Thom, hey, thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. That about does it for this week's podcast. Obviously, a very group mission trip centric. I got to hear a little bit about it at the beginning as far as my connections to group mission trips. You got to hear from a couple of former summer staffers that have now come back as volunteers, what it meant to them as summer staffers, as college students, what it means to them now. And then we got to hear from a youth leader, someone who's actively bringing their youth group to group mission trips each and every summer, loves it, what it does for him and his youth and his church and their commitment. So if you're looking for a mission trip, if you're looking for one for your middle school and high school students, I can't think of a better one in this country than group mission trips. You can go to groupmissiontrips.com, check it out. There are, I think next summer there's about 12 work camp sites. There's also a half dozen or so Week of Hope sites, which are basically service types trips. You're working in food banks and clothing closets and things like that. They're a little bit smaller. I think the cap on those are about 99, I think is what the cap is for those camps. Work camps can go up to probably 400. The average camp probably runs 250 right now to 300. So I know the camp that we're at right now this week was around 240, give or take. So yeah, if you're looking for something great for your students, life-changing, trajectory-changing for your church, please go check out groupmissiontrips.com. And if you need anything at all, just contact the podcast website, shoot us a message, and I'll be glad to answer any question you may have about group mission trips. So thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in for this very special episode. And Beth will be back next week, and we can hear all about her trip to Portland and along with a few other goodies. So anyway, until next time, this is Mike, and this has been Hey, Are You Still There?